Dear friends, today I want to share information that I believe will directly impact your wallet and your monthly life. For the first time in many years, we're witnessing a major change from the US government. And if you are receiving Social Security, working with a middle income, or simply struggling with the rising cost of living, you absolutely do not want to miss this. Trump's new executive order is expanding the dividend payment program to new groups. What does this mean for you? This is the most crucial question right now. Imagine a tariff dividend payment that could be up to $2,000 per person, and the difference is that people who have never received support before may now be on the list. In the next few minutes, I will help you understand clearly who gets paid, when will they get it, and why this could become a rare financial opportunity, especially for those who rely on a monthly budget to get by. Don't look away. The information coming up may decide whether or not you receive this money. After setting the crucial question in the introduction, I now want to explain clearly what this mentioned dividend program actually is and why it's becoming the focus of attention for millions of American families. Because if you only read a few headlines, many people will think this is just another stimulus package like previous ones. But no, the idea this time has a completely different mechanism and comes with several new features that I want you to truly grasp. We are talking about a concept called the tariff dividend. Simply put, instead of using funds from the budget or increasing the national debt to pay citizens, this program uses the tariff revenue that the U.S. collects from imported goods. This means that revenue from trade policy will be returned to the people as financial support. It's like the government saying we'll take money from the trading partners doing business with the U.S. and share that benefit with citizens at home. This is the difference from previous stimulus payments, which were a burden on the budget. There's one thing I want to emphasize so that others can visualize it better. While previous support payments often targeted the very low income or those with exceptional hardships, this time the scope has been broadened significantly. We are looking at the possibility that middle-income earners who didn't benefit much from past relief packages may now be included in the receiving list. And this is what makes the program noteworthy, as it reaches a demographic that is demonstrably suffering from inflation. For many years, prices have risen faster than income, and the middle class is being squeezed to the limit. For the first time, this group is being prioritized in a financial support policy. In addition, the group of people receiving Social Security benefits also has the potential to benefit directly. Those receiving Social Security, those on SSDI disability benefits, those receiving spousal benefits, or those receiving survivor benefits after losing a breadwinner, all may be included in the expanded eligibility. This is very important because most of these benefits are limited and increase slower than the rate of prices. Any increase, whether it's a few dozen or a few $100s a month, can make a huge difference for people living on a fixed budget. Another group I want to mention are retirees who still have to work part-time to maintain their lives. They are not poor enough to be prioritized for previous support packages, but also not wealthy enough to comfortably withstand escalating costs. If the policy is passed according to the current direction, they will no longer be left in limbo as before. We also have families who were never eligible for assistance previously. They were often considered stable, but the reality is that the market changes too quickly, and these groups are now facing a savings shortage, especially when having to pay for young children, medical care, or buying a home. If this program expands as announced for the first time, such families will receive a new financial amount to ease the pressure of life. I have advised many people and seen one thing clearly. Some people think they could never receive any government support because they aren't poor enough to qualify. But now, everything could change. This policy shifts the focus to protecting hardworking people who are still falling behind every time prices rise. I want you to remember one message carefully. For the first time, the middle class is being treated as people who need protection in a government financial support package. Therefore, the most important thing right now is for you to know exactly where you stand in that picture. Because if you belong to one of the groups I just mentioned, what is happening could directly affect you and your family in the very near future. And we absolutely don't want to be on the sidelines when these changes are implemented. Next, I will analyze clearly what this policy could mean for the entire United States, and what are the impacts that you need to be concerned about right now. Keep watching, because the next section will help you see the bigger picture and assess whether this opportunity is really for you. Dear friends, now we will analyze more deeply the actual impact of the tariff dividend program if it is implemented as announced. I want you to look from a broader perspective, not just the amount of money each person might receive, but also the policy's effect on the entire U.S. economy and the financial stability of families in the near future. First and foremost, if citizens receive this dividend, whether it's $500 or $2,000 per year, it will create a significant boost to domestic purchasing power. The U.S. is a consumer economy, and over 70% of economic growth comes from consumer spending. When people have extra money, especially middle-income earners and those relying on Social Security benefits, they will immediately spend it on essential needs. This not only helps families breathe easier, but also creates a flow of cash back into the market, supporting businesses and keeping the economy more stable. In addition, this policy could soothe the stressed public sentiment amid the rising cost of living. The cost of food, medicine, and housing are currently the top 3 worries for Americans. With additional financial support from the government, anxiety decreases, market confidence improves, and that is the necessary factor to avoid a consumer recession. Some experts suggest that public confidence is the deciding factor in whether people are willing to spend, and this policy is clearly aimed at impacting that confidence. However, I also want to share frankly with you the major controversies surrounding this proposal. The first question many financial experts are asking is whether the tariff revenue will be enough to cover the cost. If tariff policies change, if the tariff rate is reduced or challenged by the courts, this revenue source can fluctuate widely and the payment plan will be at risk. Furthermore, we also need to note that when higher tariffs are imposed on imports, businesses tend to add that cost to the selling price. This could cause prices to continue rising, and ultimately the consumer is the one directly affected. Thus, the support amount that seems to be added to your pocket may only help offset the increased money people have to pay for the exact same goods. Another issue is the political nature of this policy. Everything depends on Congress and the budget. If the consensus is not strong enough, this program may only remain a promise or change constantly according to political negotiations. Therefore, at this time, there is no firm guarantee that the money will arrive exactly as expected. I want you to understand one thing clearly. This policy offers great benefits in theory, but the level of feasibility depends on many factors that we must monitor closely. And in the next section, I will go straight to the most important issue for everyone watching this video. That is, how will this program specifically affect you and your family? Who is likely to be on the list to receive the money? And what do you need to do to not miss out on your entitlement? Keep watching because the next part will answer those crucial questions. Now, let's talk about what I know you care about most. That is, how this program will directly impact you and your family. Because no matter how broad the economic picture we look at, the ultimate important thing is the specific numbers that appear in your bank account every month and throughout your retirement life. I want you to clearly visualize that the changes being discussed right now could be the difference between you having to cut your expenses daily and you having an extra comfortable breathing room in your family budget. First, if you are receiving any form of social benefit, from Social Security to SSDI or survivor benefits, you are the first group that needs to pay attention. For many people in this group, every dollar in their monthly benefit is carefully calculated to cover food, medicine, utility bills, transportation, and healthcare. If the dividend program is truly passed, this will not just be a one-time payment. It could become a regular annual income supplement, helping you not to stress every time prices rise while your benefits increase too slowly. I have spoken with many retirees. They say that just an extra $20 or $30 a month can help them afford enough medicine or not have to skip meals. Try to imagine the relief that a dividend of a few $100s a year will bring. And if you belong to the middle income group, I want you to pay special attention. Because this policy is being mentioned as a new form of support, directed straight at the group that is suffering the most from inflation. For many years, when the government enacted stimulus or support packages, most of the money was prioritized for the low-income group. That was completely logical at the time. But the current reality has changed. The cost of living is escalating faster than the middle class's wage increase. You may not be poor enough to qualify for social welfare, but you are not wealthy enough to withstand prices rising faster than your income. This is why, for the first time, the middle class is being put on the priority list. That means you who are still working, still paying taxes, and still striving to maintain your family's life may now receive back a part of the value you have contributed to this economy. Next, we must mention people who are working, but whose wages are not keeping up with actual needs. I know many of you feel like you are racing against bills every month. Every time you go to the supermarket, you have to think about whether you need to buy this or that. Every time you receive a medical bill, you have to sigh for a long time. For you, this support is what people often call breathing room, the necessary space to breathe. An amount of money that is not huge, but enough for you to feel that you are not being pushed to the wall. When you have less financial pressure daily, you can focus more on your health, happiness, and family. However, I also want you to be sober and understand that there are still many uncertainties. We don't have a specific payment schedule yet. There is also no official announcement on the income limits to determine who receives it and who doesn't. And the method of receiving the money could also change. It could be a check sent directly through the mail, it could be a tax reduction in the upcoming tax filing, or it could be a refund based on the tariff that you have indirectly paid through consuming imported goods. All these things still need to await clear announcement from the government. What I want to emphasize to you is that we must not underestimate this opportunity. If you fall into one of the groups I just mentioned, what is about to happen could directly concern you. I hope you will closely follow the updates that I will share in the following sections, because if you miss just one piece of important information, you could lose the entitlement that should rightfully be yours. And now, we need to move to the conclusion of this entire issue. I will help you look clearly once again at the overall picture, correctly understand the meaning of this program for your family's financial future, and most importantly, the next steps you need to take to not be left out when everything is officially rolled out. Please continue to follow. We have one more important part right behind this. Dear friends, at this point, we can clearly see that the tariff dividend program, if fully implemented, will open up significant financial opportunities for many American families. However, as I analyzed, there are still many things that have not been specifically confirmed. And this is the time when you need clear guidance to not get confused between official information and the unfounded rumors circulating on social media. I want you to always rely on transparent data sources announced by the government and clearly analyzed by experts. From now on, the best thing you can do is closely monitor official announcements related to the program. Because if there are new changes regarding eligibility criteria or payment methods, they will be released first in documents and updates from the administration. I also recommend that you review your tax records, because if this policy chooses the form of tax reduction or refund, having your records complete and updated will help ensure you don't miss out on the benefits you should be entitled to. Additionally, identify which group you belong to among the groups likely to receive support that I mentioned. Understanding your position will help you prepare in advance and follow the correct content relevant to your specific case. I am always committed to continuing to provide you with the most accurate and timely information. My channel will be the place to help you understand every change easily and avoid misinterpretation or missing the opportunity. Right after this, we will move to the most important conclusion. I want to emphasize once again the entire significance of this change and help you prepare best for the next steps. Let's continue together. We have gone through all the important points surrounding Trump's new executive order and the expanded tariff dividend program. This is a watershed proposal because for the first time, the middle class and those struggling with the rising cost of living are prioritized in a government financial support policy. If this program is officially rolled out, it could create a significant change in the family budget of millions of Americans, especially those who rely on fixed benefits or income that is not keeping pace with inflation. However, as I have analyzed throughout the video, everything at this moment is still in the proposal and refinement stage. There is no firm guarantee until the administration releases specific guidelines on timing, criteria, and payment mechanisms. Therefore, the most important thing I hope you remember is do not let yourself be misled by unverified sources or baseless rumors. You need to stick to official information and always follow the latest updates to not miss out on your own entitlement. I also want to share with you the channel's commitment. This video is built from public data sources, including statistical reports, market analysis, information from government agencies, and reputable professional studies. Our goal is to provide a clear, objective, and up-to-date perspective for retirees and families to have a better basis for choosing a suitable place to live, not just for the present, but for the long-term future. We do not represent any administration, organization, or real estate company, and we do not aim to promote or favor any specific area. Every individual has different circumstances, needs, and priorities, and we respect the diversity of personal choice. The channel is always aimed at sharing information that is constructive, neutral, and brings real value to the retiree community. If you find this video helpful, please continue to follow me. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can exchange ideas and help each other better understand the changes that may come in the near future. I will always be here to update you on the most important things related to welfare, finance, and the future of every family.